Five reasons why people remain single. Five reasons why people remain single. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the show. This is Njenga Njeru. On this episode, I want to give you five reasons why people remain single. You will identify with one, two, three, four, or even the five reasons. And if you stick with me, I might add a bonus or two. I might get you a bonus or two. But these are the very five reasons why most people are single to date. If you're watching this video and probably you're single, I want you to have an introspection. I want you to reflect on these reasons and ask yourself, are they worth it? Should I remain single because of these reasons? Because at the end of the day, the purpose of this video is to help you overcome those reasons. In other words, they are excuses. And in German, they say that excuses are tools of incompetence, and those who use them never succeed in anything. One of the British and German chancellor said those words. I will confirm who said those words, and then I'll put it here so that we can get clarity. So, what are some of the five reasons why people remain single? Why do people remain single? If you identify with these reasons, you will be able to set the pace. You will be able to understand from a standpoint of understanding, from a standpoint of merit. Why am I single? And then we will be able to dissect, and then you can overcome them. And after you overcome them, we will be able to have a marriage here. Because at the end of the day, it is not good for man to live alone. It is also not good for a woman to live alone. You can get a husband, you can get a wife, and life becomes easier. Because even if it is not even financial wise, economically, you can even help one another. You can saidiana because life is one big burden and it's a chess game. You move, we move, you move like that. And if you can play together, two are better than one, especially when their heads are not empty. So welcome. So reason number one, fear of unknown. I understand there are so many people who have never been married. It makes one of the reasons why people have not gotten matches yet. If you have never been married and you've heard traumatic stories of people who went through hell when they were still in marriage, then you have that fear. That fear keeps holding you back. But no pain, no gain, no risk, no story. There are so many people who are held back by fear, even posting their stories on Facebook or on YouTube, then getting people to approach them. Fear holds them back. When that fear holds them back, they never get married. And you all understand that whatever you don't market never sells. Some of you are so beautiful, others are so handsome. Even when you're walking, nobody can say that you're not married. But because fear is holding you back, you remain single. And one of the biggest regrets you will ever have is that of fear holding you back, and you never accomplished what you wanted to accomplish on the face of the earth. So please, if fear is holding you back, that is one of the reasons why you have never been married. So reason number one, fear of unknown. There is nothing unknown about marriage. If you will die by a sword, you will die by a sword. If you'll die by a knife, you'll die by a knife. Your work is to pray for yourself and tell God, you know what? I will be making declarations. I cannot be a failure. I cannot be a victim of manslaughter. I cannot be a victim of homicide. I cannot be a victim of whatever kind of, misfortune that other people meet. You put your hands on your head and you pray for yourself and you say, I cannot be a victim of this. I cannot be a victim of that. You make declarations. Whatever you make as a declaration here becomes an authority in heaven because there is power in your tongue. So fear of unknown is one of the reasons why people never get married. Reason number two, over expectations. Most people are expecting a lot. You see, when you expect too much, you end up being disappointed. There are people who have expected so much in marriage and they don't even put in the same effort. You see, you expect a man who is driving, you're not driving. You expect a woman who is driving, you're not driving. You expect a man who has a home, you don't have a home. You expect a very educated man, you're not even educated. You expect a very educated woman, you have not gone to school yourself. But the expectations you are having are very unrealistic. So, unrealistic expectations are one of the reasons why people can remain single because you're not looking for a person who is logical. You are not looking for meeting of minds. You are looking to settle scores of ego. Nilipata mtu amesoma, nilipata mtu mwenye akona pesa. These unrealistic expectations have made so many people remain single. You're looking for a human being. I want you to at least look at yourself and ask yourself, do I deserve that much? No, let us be rude for once. Do you deserve that much? Because the kind of expectations you're putting out there are so much. The kind of expectations that you guys are putting out there, I'm not saying they cannot be met, but on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you place yourself? Are you a 10? You want a 10. Are you a 5? You want a 10. Are you a 4? You want a 10. Are you a 2? You want a 10. Okay? You want a healthy person and you are sick. Okay? You want somebody who is very, very serious with life. You're not even serious to start with. You don't even know how to introduce yourself. Mtu akikuitisha picha unakasirika. Are you getting the point? So, unrealistic expectations. The most important thing is to sit down and ask yourself, have I met these expectations myself? Because if you have, then you don't have to ask, you have not asked for too much. Are we together? Yeah. So, ask yourself, have I met these expectations? And then, if you have met these expectations, you have qualified to ask for similar or lesser. Otherwise, having unrealistic expectations is one of the reasons why most people have remained single and they will remain single. Number three, children. The issue of children is a bone of contention to most people. I have so many people who on this show are not married by the very reason of children. They have children and they fear to disappoint those children. They fear to disappoint children because they don't want a point where these children will come and say, you got married along the way. You married along the way. And maybe they have heard stories of people who have been, people who have suffered in the hands of steps, either a stepdad or a stepmom, and they don't want their children to go through the same ordeal. I want you to understand that children should never be the reason why you're not married. If your past relationship is dead, if you are widowed, for instance, if you're officially divorced and the children are in your custody, or you're even sharing custody, you should never fear from the very idea of marriage. I have said here time without number that the idea of marriage does not belong to me. The idea of marriage does not belong to you either. The idea of marriage belongs to God. Marriage is God's original idea. And if it is God's original idea, that idea is not supposed to fail. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to put yourself on check. Ask yourself, am I doing my very best? Am I doing my very best to propagate marriage? Because if you want to give reasons that your children have not completed school, you can give all those reasons. You can cite all manner of reasons. But excuses are tools of incompetence. Those who use them never succeed in anything. So I don't want you to give these reasons or excuses, because at the end of the day, you should love yourself. Even as you love your children, you come first. I want you to understand that very clearly. You come first. You come first. Jesus said, love your neighbor as you love yourself. Love your children as you love yourself. The standard measure of loving other people is self love. You can only love other people to the degree that you love yourself. Do you understand? So there's no point in telling us, I want children to complete school. I don't know. I promised yourself. I promised myself A, B, C. Whatever you promised yourself is immaterial, because you're continuing to age. The younger, the better. If you can get married earlier, you can enjoy more. Longevity is very important. Are we together, ladies and gentlemen? So the other reason, and that is reason number three, is the reason of children. I even have a man on this show. I know that man personally. He's in his 40s, very stable guy, even financially. The man is stable. But he has three children. He's living a good life. He's a businessman. He's doing everything. People who hire him say he's a good man and all that. He's doing well. He's taking care of his family. But when women come and hear that this man has four children, three of them in fact, they will say, wacha mimi nitafute mtu ako na mtoto mmoja, na wewe uko na watoto. It can be part of unrealistic expectation, but at the same time, these children are limiting him from getting married. Children are visitors. They should never limit you from getting married. Do you understand? So that is reason number three. Reason number four, toxic parents and toxic childhood, traumatic experiences during childhood. There were people who were raised in families that were very toxic. There are girls who witnessed their mothers being beaten like a thief. There were girls who watched their fathers being humiliated. and their fathers ended up being miserable. There are people who watched very toxic marriages when growing up. Some of you, most of you maybe, are victims of the same. You are beaten to get together with your parents, mothers for that matter. Mothers and children were put on the same level. Gone are the days when parents used to beat their spouses. Kama ni mama anatandika mzee kama darama. The same case applied to the wife. Unapigwa pamoja na watoto. Hata kwa makosa ya watoto unatandikwa. There are people who took that literally and they had that blueprint as if that is the very reason why marriage should not actually work. You see, if you are in such a relationship, if you are in such a marriage where your parents were humiliated, traumatized, you became traumatized as well. If you fell victim of such an arrangement, you are likely to give it as an excuse that, marriages are toxic. There were people whose sisters got married, and maybe bigger sisters, they were younger, they got beaten, they came back with two, three children, and they had to raise them alone. It still goes back to number one as fear of the unknown, but I want you to understand that if you have a traumatic experience with marriage, you're likely to give excuses not to get married. So, one of the reasons why people really fear and hate marriage in just the same way is a traumatic experience of the past. Toxic parents made people hate marriages. There are people who are raising children today, but because they are single, they can cite their singlehood to toxic parents. Their fathers were toxic. And then they said, I would never want such an experience. And because they don't want such an experience, they give an excuse. But gone are the days. These days, if you beat your wife, people will wonder, how? Why? You see, very rare occasions do you find those things happening. If you lead a family in just the same way, that is now traditional rulership, which does not exist in the modern day marriage. So that is another reason. Are we together? Reason number 5, lack of wisdom during introduction. There are people who don't know how to talk. I don't know where nitawaketisha wapi niwafunze, but some of you don't know how to talk. Some of you are very empty when it comes to introductions. People don't know how to introduce themselves. Mtu anakupigia vizuri, hello, I got your contact from Njenga Njeru. I would like to know more about you. And the next question the person is asking, unafanyanga nini? Do you have money ama ni kunipotezea wakati? Unafanyanga nini? By the way, wewe ni kabila gani? Eh, mimi hao siwapendi. And you're like, does this person hold an ounce of wisdom? Does this person have emotional intelligence? Because at the end of the day, the moment you open your mouth, people are able to gauge you. They will place you on whatever scale. And lack of wisdom has been a citation for many people. And that is the reason why they remain single. You ask a person, wait a minute, eh, si ulikuwa umesema uko single, lakini sitaki mtu kama wewe. Even if you are rejecting somebody, you can graciously do the same and still make a friend out of the same. But people don't know how to talk. Others don't know how to introduce themselves. They will remain single. Hi, niko na watoto wanne, utawezana na wao? As if ni yeye alikuwa amewazaa. And the person is very comfortable. And then the person will come back to my inbox. Jenga, these men are not serious. Wanafikiria watoto tutapeleka wapi? You don't know how to talk. Learn how to talk first before you introduce yourself to somebody. Most people lack the wisdom to introduce themselves. In fact, when you're introducing yourself, and I think I'll do a video on the same, when you're introducing yourself, it is very important to keep off your children. It is not your children who are getting married. At least when you're dealing with an intelligent person, they know if you are 40, 50, 30, you are likely to have children. And that discussion will still come in its own time. But the other person will say, mimi natakanga kuintroduce watoto wangu kwanza, my children are everything. No, your children are not everything. You are everything to yourself. Then your children follow. You see why some of these marriages break? Because either of the spouse will put the children first. If you put your children first, that marriage is dead on arrival. If you want to put your children first, don't get married. Your spouse comes first. I don't know how many times I'll teach you this. Your children comes first. Your spouse comes first. Sorry, then your children follow in the arrangement of marriage. But if you're not married, your children comes first. Then maybe your parents, then your siblings, in that order. But in marriage, It's a non-negotiable requirement that your spouse comes first. But ignorant people will always say, no, my children comes first. Then marriage utaiona na watu wengine. There are intricacies of marriage. You see, there is a way you can present yourself with wisdom. Kila mtu anajua unapenda watoto wako. Hata huyo mtu unakuta anapenda watoto wake. It is like a man who wants to get married and he has children already. He wants to marry. And then he tells that woman, I have children, but you have to leave your children back and then come if you want to get married. Lack of wisdom. Kama uko serious, we will see. I want to give you a bonus. Are you ready for that bonus? But before then, check whether you have subscribed. It is simple to do that. It's free to do that. Enable the notifications bell. Enable the notifications bell. Any other time I release a new video, YouTube automatically notifies you. The bonus is being choosy. Being choosy can be equated to setting a very high standard. If you set a very high standard, I am likely to tell you that you will not get a match. You are not perfect either. You cannot get a perfect partner. You see, being choosy is very good, but being very choosy. Kila mtu ukipata huyo hapana. Huyo hana ndevu mingi. Huyo sijui amenyolewa aje. Huyo sijui meno yake si ya white kabisa. Mimi natakanga mtu mwenye ana all those standards. You put them up there, and this is something you can even compensate for. Sometimes you can take a man and you groom him the way you want. You can take a woman and groom her the way you want. Yesterday in my stories, in your thoughts section on Facebook, if you follow Njenga Njeru on Facebook, we have a segment we call Your Thoughts. A very nice segment where people come with confessions. And one of the men was telling me she was happy about the woman he got, but there is one bone of contention. The woman is good, alikuwa na haja na ndoa, hata amefence shamba yote na sukuma. Hiyo boma yote imefensiwa na spinach na mboga, lakini the woman hapendi maji sana, hapendi kuoga sana, hapendi mambo ya sabuni. And this is very immaterial because this is something you can actually take your spouse, talk to her, tell her, I like this and the other. You can even bathe together, can't you? You can even shower together. You can even prepare water for them. They will like it story by story with a lot of grace. But if you want somebody who is perfect, and you know they are perfectionist, kama ni simu kama hii anaikuta hapa, kesho aikute pale, mtakosana. That should not be the reason why marriage is ending. I'll see you in the next video, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're enjoying season 4 of the Matchmaker Show.